Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you guys a day and night look. So yes, two different looks using Tarte's new Clay Play face shaping palette. You guys are going to love this palette for many reasons. So first of all, there are 9 beautiful shades in here that are all matte and they all range from neutral to smoky. So you can do a very light daytime natural makeup. You could do a cut crease with it. You could do a smoky eye. Like there's so many eye makeup looks you can do with it. And there's also 3 contouring shades in here as well. You can fill your eyebrows in with them. You can still actually incorporate this into your eye makeup as well. You can contour your cheeks, your nose. Pretty much it's like the power sculpting palette that can do everything. I also love that they are super rich and pigmented. Like a little goes a long way. And you'll notice in the tutorials that I use just a very little bit and I blend out first and I add more if needed, but they just go on so nice and blend so easily. So these are going to be available on June 25th. However, Ulta Beauty has been given early access to these palettes 2 weeks early online. So if you guys decide you love this look and want to recreate it, I have a link in my bio where you can shop the look. So without further ado, it's time to get started on the look. So I'm going to start off with putting some moisturizer on my skin first, and I'm going to be using the H2O AQUADEFENSE Protective Matcha Facial Moisturizer. This is a great daytime moisturizer because it helps out with the texture of your skin. It also helps to improve the dullness of it. It's just pretty much going to build the shield over your skin to protect it. So before I apply any kind of primer or eye cream, I'm going to allow the moisturizer to just kind of settle into my skin. So now let's get started on my eyes and eyebrows. So I'm going to be going in with this color Dunes for my eyebrows and start right on the arch. So I'm just trying to fill in all those little spots because I did over tweeze as a teen. So I just want a more natural touch to the brows. I'm now going to be cleaning up underneath of my eyebrows, and I'm going to be using the Shape Tape from Tarte. This is in the shade Light Medium Honey. You guys know I absolutely love this concealer. So I'm going to be using that shade to clean up just underneath of my eyebrows. I'm going to go in with the color Journey, which is this beautiful light brown kind of peachy shade, and start right at my crease, like right underneath my brow bone. Just kind of carve out my eye. And you can see it just kind of makes the eye look a lot more open, and it's such a beautiful color to really wear not only as like this kind of crease color, but in like an all over color too. I'm now going to be going in with the color Ember, which is this matte reddish brown kind of color, and it's almost like maybe 5 shades darker than this one. I'm going to be using this color to just kind of deepen up the crease a little bit, but I'm focusing this mainly on the outer part of my eye. It's kind of right in there. And now I'm grabbing that color Journey again with that big fluffy brush and just kind of blend everything together. And this will just kind of complete the eye makeup. And just going in that circular motion, kind of bring it up into the brow bone a little bit. It's gonna just really soften up that crease color and just bring everything together. So now for the lid, I'm gonna go back in with that fluffy brush. I'm gonna pick up the color Instinct. So I'm gonna just pull my eye out and dust this across. All right, eyes look good. This lid color is like a sandy color. I really like the way that looks. So I'm gonna grab a little bit more of the color Ember because you guys know I like a little more on the eyes. And I'm gonna take this pretty much higher into my eye, just right around there, and just kind of go in that back and forth motion. And I think that looks great just like that. All right, so for daytime, I usually don't like wearing any kind of wing liner or any kind of liner whatsoever. I'm just more of a mascara kind of person. So I'm gonna now plump up my lashes, and I'm gonna be using the Tarte Lights Camera Falsies. And just really tugging at the root and pulling it up. And this, I love these kind of wands on mascaras because they really just help to comb through every single lash. It just helps to separate them and give your lash like a really full look. All right, I'm gonna do one more coat on my lashes, especially because I'm not gonna be wearing falsies today. I just kind of want my lashes to look like I have falsies on, if that makes any sense. All right, so my eyes are complete, so I'm now gonna be moving on back into my skin, and I'm gonna be using LANCOME's LABASE Pro Primer. This is an oil-free primer, and this is perfect for all skin types. It just really helps to smooth out your skin, makes it look like you have no imperfections whatsoever. And you guys know primers are essential. They're so important in your everyday makeup. You really wanna have something underneath of your makeup to make it stick on and last all day. So now that my primer's on, I'm gonna jump into my eye cream, and I'm gonna be using the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye. This is going to brighten, depuff, and smooth the under eye area. And this is my first time actually trying it out, but I've heard so many great things about it. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pat this on underneath the eye. And personally to me, anytime I do my makeup, I always need eye cream. If I do not have eye cream on, I feel like my under eyes don't look as smooth. I feel like I look tired. So I highly recommend always put on eye cream before you do your makeup. So for foundation, I'm gonna be using Estee Lauder's Double Wear Foundation in the shade 2W2. And I'm gonna dump a little bit of this out onto the back of my palm, just like that. I'm now going to take in the Shape Tape in the shade Medium. I'm going to grab a flat brush and I'm going to conceal underneath of my eye area. And I'm pretty much following the same steps I do from my everyday makeup. Like, you guys know how I like my makeup. So I'm just going to follow the same steps as that. I'm just going to clean this up right here. I don't want there to be a crazy line. I just kind of want it cleaned up. So I'm going to set my skin with the Hello Flawless powder from Benefit, and this is in the shade Petal. So I'm just doing a light amount of powder around. As you guys can see, I'm not really dipping it back into the product. I'm just kind of working with what's already on my brush. Alright, so now we're on to my favorite part of the makeup, which is contouring. This is a one step I feel like I do with all of my makeup, even daytime, because all it's doing is really just enhancing all your features. And I love that you can do so much with contouring. You can really bring out the cheekbones, you can chisel your chin, you can chisel the nose, you can make your forehead look, you know, even smaller. There's so much you can do with it, and I love it for that reason. So in this palette, they came with 3 beautiful colors, and I'm going to be going in with the color Terracotta, and I'm going to be dusting it first on the perimeter of my face, and then working into my cheekbones, and then into my nose. Let me go in first on my forehead and bringing this in. It's really just going to warm it up. I'm now going to be doing the cheekbones, and what I like to do is place the brush pretty much right there, and you can actually find your cheekbone. And pretty much by doing that, it kind of guides you to not go too low or too high. So I personally just go right there and then work my way back and then forward. Kind of always make sure you work towards the hairline first. And see, I don't know if you guys can see a difference. I know for me, I feel like my cheekbones look a lot more enhanced. I look a little more sun-kissed as well, so that's why I love that color, because it does like a 2-in-1 for you. So now I'm going to contour my nose, and I'm going to go in with a flat brush for that, picking up the same color, Terracotta. However, I'm only going to stamp it in pretty much once, dust off the excess amount. Because this is super pigmented, you don't need too much, so a little goes a long way. From there, I'm going to grab this flat brush, and I'm just going to go down the sides of my nose. And less is more when doing nose contour. You want to make sure that you start off with a little bit and then gradually build it up if you need more color. I'm gonna grab that beauty blender again and just kind of go on the sides of the nose. See how that just kind of softened it up? So I just kind of do that across so it's not too stamped on. And I'm gonna do a line across the nose, a little bit underneath. Gives my nose a little push. And as I said, don't, oh my God. And again, just grabbing that beauty blender and going down the middle and the sides. I'm now going to be going in with Urban Decay's blush in the shade Video. I'm going to be applying this to the apples of my cheeks. So for my highlight, I'm going to be using the new BECCA Cosmetics and CHRISSY TIEGAN palette, and I'm going to be using the color, this is called Beach Nectar. This has like a really pretty peach undertone, so I think it's really going to complement the makeup to kind of bring it out. Sometimes when the highlight I think is a little too gold, it can wash me out, so having a little bit of that nectar color is going to really just enhance everything. I'm pretty much just adding it wherever light hits my face. I just kind of move my face around and I'm like, okay, right there. And I know it doesn't hit my nose, but I'm still going to add some on there. I'm also going to be adding it to the inner part of my eye. So for my bottom eyes, I'm going to be applying the colors that I did on top, but I'm only going to be going in with the color Journey. And I'm grabbing a flat brush for this and put this on the middle of my eye and then work my way side to side. I just always love a little bit of color underneath the eyes. It just kind of completes the look. So I'm now going to finish off my bottom eyes with the Lights Camera Flashes mascara. So I just lined my lips off camera, but I'm going to top my lips off with the Maybelline Baby Lips in Toasted Taupe. This is like kind of a lip balm lipstick kind of deal, but for daytime this is perfect because it just is enough color. It gives you gloss, it gives you shine, and it's also moisturizing as well. So I'm just going to set my lips with this, and you can wear this alone, but I do like it with a lip liner. Alright, so I'm just going to set everything with the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray and just do a few sprays. The whole bottle, whatever you want. Alright, so this is a finished look on my daytime makeup, and I love the way this came out. This is such a pretty look for pretty much anyone, and I feel like it's just enough color that anybody really could wear it out. So now that we did that, it's time to go to look 2, which is going to be my night look, and this is going to be a lot more dramatic. It's going to be more attention to the eyes, and I think you guys are really going to love this look. Alright, so I did one eye off camera. That way you guys can see what it's going to look like at the end, because the process can be a little messy when it comes to smoky eye. So let's jump right into this. I'm going to go in with this color Stone as my transition. And what I'm going to do first is start right at my crease. And I'm just going to lightly build it up. Anytime we do a smoky eye, it's really important that you have a good amount of transition in there. You really want to make sure that when you add the dark in there, that it gradually transitions into a beautiful shade, then into the brow bone, then into your brow. And the next one is the color Amber, which was in the first look that we did. I absolutely love this shade. I'm going to be applying that right into the crease. And with this one, we're going to be adding this all the way. Make sure you want to go in a back and forth motion, and you'll see it's going to gradually fade into that first transition color that we just applied. Then I'm going to grab that big brush again and kind of blend everything together. And then right at the crease, I'm going to be applying a little more of that Ember color, just really building that color into the crease. If your smoky eye looks a little messy, it can look like that at first, but we're going to be cleaning all of that up. From there, I'm going to be grabbing the color Smoke, which is a dark charcoal brown, and I'm going to pat that onto my lid first, starting pretty much right at the center of the eye. And I'm just going to pat that across my lid. And you will notice that the color just kind of lightly fades into the transition. You only really need to add the smoky part just onto the lid part. Everything else is the transition. So now I'm going to go back in with the color Ember one more time with that same fluffy brush. I'm pretty much just going to blend all those colors together. So now with the small brush, I'm grabbing the color Onyx, which is a matte black shade. And I'm going to press this onto my crease. So I'm starting this pretty much right on the outer part of the eye and lightly just kind of packing it up. And I'm now grabbing one of the other blending brushes. It's a little bigger, and I'm going to pack a little bit more of that color on there. And I'm doing this because I don't want it to be entirely a black smoky eye. I still want the smoke shade and Ember to show up. However, I'm just making sure I have enough black on there. I know I'm looking a little crazy right now, but this is totally part of the smoky process, which is why I love doing my foundation once I'm done with my eyes. So next, I'm going to be going in with the NYX liquid liner. So I'm going to sweep this first across my lash line. And I'm just going to do a very light flick out. And now I'm going to grab a little more of Onyx onto the brush. I'm going to pat this on top of the liner. So I'm just going to pat it right over, and it just kind of darkens it up and gives you just a little more smoke on your crease. I'm now going to be taking in the Tarte Lights Camera Flashes mascara and applying this onto my lashes and then doing falsies on top of that. Alright, so my eyes are done, moisturizer's on, it's time to get into my skin. I'm going to go in again with the LANCôME LABASE Pro Primer, and instead of the Estee Lauder Double Wear, I'm going to be using the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation in the shade Tan Sand for tonight's look. Don't mind this not being my shade, guys. It's all gonna work out at the end. I always go a little darker than my skin because I like to be a little more tan. Alright, so for highlight and contouring, I'm going to be going in with my Shape Tape, and I'm using the color Geek to contour and Light Medium Honey to highlight. And these are my... You want to make sure for the concealer, you really want to do patting motions so you can get the most coverage out of it. And I'm now going to go in with the Deep Shape Tape. And I've been doing this lately, and I'm loving this technique. Instead of adding it to my skin and making all the lines, I love just adding it to the back of the Beauty Blender. I'm going to be adding this pretty much to my cheekbones. And I'm now going to go in with my Gem Blend powder to bake. I'm going to grab my damp Beauty Blender, dip it right into there, and just pretty much apply it everywhere where I highlighted it. And then after that, I'm going to go back in with my Clay Play palette and contour my face. Ooh, girl, she's not playing tonight. She is going out down the center, chin. I'm going to do a little bit down my nose too, and right there. And right there. Pretty much everywhere. So while we bake, I'm going to go back in with the Clay Play palette and sculpt my face. I'm going to be going in with the same color I used earlier, Terracotta, for my contour, and I'm going to be doing this with a big fluffy fan brush first and then a smaller brush for my nose. and adding a little bit more of the contouring shade in there to just kind of detail any areas that the fan brush didn't get into. I'm just gonna dust off this light powder first and make sure to just kind of blend it into the cheeks. It's just gonna soften everything up. I'm gonna set my skin with the All Nighter setting spray. And I've always said that I love doing this after I apply any kind of powder onto my skin. But by doing that, you're really just bonding all those particles together. And I personally feel like it wears longer. So it's better to set almost right away when you're done rather than at the very end. So I'm now going to be applying a little bit of that Ember onto my lower lash line. So when it comes to lower lash line, instead of doing a black eyeshadow on my lower lash line, I like to apply a lighter shade instead, only because I already have so much going up on top. If I apply anything darker to this area down here, it just kind of encloses my eye and takes away that look that I'm going for. So I'm now going to go in with this No Tug Waterproof Black Eyeliner from IT Cosmetics, and I'm going to apply this all over my lash line. I'm now going to go back in with the BECCA Cosmetics and CHRISSY TIEGAN palette using the same color, Beach Nectar. I'm going to be adding this as a highlight on my cheeks and nose. So I just lined my lips and I'm going to top them off using Maybelline's Nude lipstick in the shade Hot Sand. It's one of my favorite nudes ever. So I added more of like a mauve-y kind of lip pencil, and I'm just going to pop this kind of all over. And I'm just gonna pop some gloss over this, some clear gloss. All right, I'm done. Hair's in place, makeup's in place. I'm ready to go out. So that completes this smoky eye tutorial. I love the way both of the looks came out. They are so different, yet they're so me, and I feel like I would wear them day to night, any day of the week. Out of both of the looks, let me know below which was your favorite and why. And if you guys do recreate these looks, I would love to see them. You guys know you can share them with me by just hashtagging iluvsarahii and I could see it, or tweeting me, and I love retweeting your guys' pictures of you guys recreating certain looks that I do. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.